Hi, I'm Julie Calza, and I'm here to bring you the Ask Julie C Real Estate Show. In this episode, we go over the specifics of the VA appraisal process, what myths you shouldn't believe, and what truths you need to be aware of. In talking about the VA appraisal process, it's really easy to fall down a rabbit hole of a lot of excess information. The VA loan process is intricate, and the appraisal is no exception. This is another example of why who you work with really matters. You need to make sure that the professional you're working with understand the VA loan, are creative, and know how to navigate the intricacies involved in a home buying or selling process using a VA loan. The most important thing that you need to understand is the VA appraisal is the VA's way of offsetting their risk and ensuring the home is worth at least what you're paying for it, aka at least what the loan amount is going to be. Now, the VA appraisal usually takes about 10 business days to come back once it's ordered, and some lenders won't order the VA appraisal until after inspections. So in some cases, we could be more than midway through the process before we actually know the appraisal result. Just ensure that you have realistic expectations set up for the VA appraisal and ask any questions that you have about the VA appraisal process. Let's go through 3 myths about the VA appraisal process and the truths that you need to know. Myth number 1, the VA appraisal's job is to determine the value of your home. Truth, it is not the appraiser's job to determine the value of the property you're buying. Let me say it again for those of you in the back. It is not the appraiser's job to determine the value of the home you're purchasing. Now, as I say this, I can feel all the internet trolls and other agents that are just gearing up at their keyboards and ready to write me a scathing letter about how wrong I am. Just listen. The VA appraiser's job is to make sure the home is worth at least what you're paying for it. So the VA appraiser is going to come out, they're going to look at the property, they're going to evaluate the condition, they're going to look at comparable sales in the area, and all of this they're going to use to try to support the value of the property. As long as they can do that, your VA appraisal will come back at the price that you're purchasing the home at. So what I'm trying to tell you is if it comes in a little bit over, rejoice. If it comes in right at purchase price, rejoice. These are both ideal situations, and in either case, the appraiser has done their job. Myth number 2, VA appraisers are notoriously low and they don't take accurate market conditions into consideration. Truth, VA appraisers are more often than not qualified to appraise for multiple loan types. So it's very rare to get a bias on the part of the appraiser just because it's a VA loan. That's not to say many VA appraisal conditions or scenarios aren't frustrating. The VA appraisal process is very specific, and there are more requirements for a VA appraisal than most other loan types. Any misunderstanding about the VA appraisal process can cause a lot of frustration for the client or you as the buyer. So make sure that your agent is adequately preparing you for the expectations of the VA appraisal process. Myth number 3, if the VA appraisal comes back low, you cannot buy the home as a buyer and you can't sell the home as a seller. Once the VA appraisal comes back, if it does come back low, our first step is to renegotiate the terms of the contract. As long as the real estate professionals you're working with are creative and experienced with the VA appraisal process and experienced in executing VA loan transactions, you shouldn't have any issues renegotiating and coming to terms that'll still work for both parties despite a low appraisal condition. It's extremely rare to not be able to come up with a solution. In my career, I've only had one low VA appraisal that couldn't be renegotiated, and the clients ended up purchasing an even better home. So there's always a silver lining. So to sum up, it is not the VA appraiser's job to determine the value on the property you're purchasing. It's their job to determine if the property is worth at least what you're paying for it. VA appraisers are different, but they're qualified in most cases to appraise for different loan types. So it's very rare to encounter a bias on the part of the appraisal. And I mean, 8 out of 10 times in my experience, they're gonna come back fine anyway. have any questions about the VA appraisal process or the VA loan in general, visit juliekelza.com to binge on all the most recent episodes of the Ask Julie C Real Estate Show, or fill out a contract request form to ask me the questions yourself. Maybe we'll even feature the question on a future episode. Thank you again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time.